I'm about to put this decal on. It's a 3D puffy kind of decal, and I don't think they're available anymore, but I've had this for like a year, and I got one for the other side. I think I've got things repainted now and squared up, so we're gonna go for it, and hopefully I don't screw it up. I don't think I will. I'm pretty good at this. I'm gonna peel the backing off first. If you peel it off at like an angle, you won't take the sticker with you. And this painter's tape helps me align everything. I'm sure there are better ways of doing this, but I'm like literally sweating from this. Oh. There's one for the front bumper, one for both sides, and one for the back. But the one on the back of the truck is already there. One down. This is the bumper support. This is not the US insurance spec bumper support, which keeps the car light. Not a lot of weight over the rear wheels or on the overhang. This guy just goes in here like that. Comes got a lot of hardware to put in. And then these side supports. One goes on this side. See if I got it in the frame here. One goes like so on this side. And you can see this has two Phillips screws. And you get the part placed correctly. But I'll start doing this, and then I'll start prepping the front, and then get ready to put them on. There are 5 screws across the bottom. This is sort of the underside of the car. The bumper's in a weird orientation right now. But we'll put these guys in, and then we'll move on to the next one. When I do these fasteners, I just do them all hand tight. Like even here, none of these are tight, as you can see. Just did them all with my hand. I'll leave all of them loose until everything is in. That way you can manipulate the bumper. Nothing gets tight or pulled as you go along. I think all in all there's about 12 or 15 fasteners for the back side of this thing. So getting there. This is gonna look so good when it's all clipped on. All the oval and rectangular holes take these white clips that are preloaded into this new trim piece. And then all of the round ones that hold the cover to the bumper support take those normal Mitsubishi push-in black ones. So I got the bumper lifted up onto the truck and in position. Before I did that, I usually like to cover the edges in tape because it's big and you can't really watch both sides at the same time. And if you bump something along the way in, it'll protect both the truck body and the bumper so you don't scratch it. Another thing with the Pajero is you have to open the rear door to put the bumper on because this tab right here is behind the door, so you can't put the cover on with the door shut. The ones that hold the bumper to the body of the car are here. Get a flashlight. They're right here, this one and this one. So those will go in. I'll probably just put a couple loose fasteners in there now just to hold it so it doesn't fall out. So these go in here. I'm just putting them finger tight right now. There's a couple more here. Nudge that in a little bit. And the reason, so the weird thing about this construction in the order that you have to do this on the Pajero Evo is that this step plate that goes up here, you can't pry it off without breaking it, without breaking the clips, and usually the actual step plate. So what I did was I went in from underneath with a pry bar and just like a rubber mallet, and I just went and I snapped the heads off every clip, each one of these rectangular holes. I would just come under it, and you can buy the clips, so it saves your step, because if you crank on it, you'll pull the plastic base off the thing and you'll ruin this plate. So what I did was I put a pry bar that was long, and I would just give it a whack with a hammer, break the head off, and eventually the step came off. And that's the best way to do it. You just do that from underneath, lie on a creeper. But it's weird because you have to take that step off to get to these screws, because these screws hold the whole unit to the body of the car. Now the step is on. I placed it on with the door shut, and I did that, pressed it down with my hand, then I gently opened the door, fully pressed it down in the middle underneath the spare wheel. And the next step here will be to put the tow hitch back on. Have that over here on the shelf, right here. This guy can't go on first because it doesn't fit through the hole of the bumper, and it just makes things a lot more difficult. So we'll put that guy on, and then I have to do the fender well work, but I took the tape out already. Man, I'm so psyched. This looks so good. There was a dent here that my friend Joe fixed for me, and these guys are just awesome. The paint match is superb. Looks really good. I mean, the alternative here was to take the whole truck, but when you're going to do that, then you have to take everything off, and it's just turns into a year-long project. And now this thing is looking real shiny, and it's been sitting here for 6 months in dust. So once it gets cleaned up, it's going to look fantastic. There's 4 of these underneath, and then there's a bunch of other fasteners that we have to do. There's a bug. I just tried to rescue a bee outside. It stung me. I watch all these beekeeping videos, and no one ever gets stung. I try to do this once and I get stung. Fortunately, I'm not allergic. So this is on for now. I'm going to flip this so it's not sitting on the paint. I'm not going to put it on today. I'll finish up this video tomorrow, but while we're here, there's 2 studs here, 1, 2, and there's 2 on the other side, and basically the bumper meets the face of the car, and from the back you put nuts on there, and that's how the cover's held on. So, and then in the center, right here, which is like basically behind an oil cooler, there's 2 more. So you get a total of 6 fasteners where they're M10s, and they hold this whole support onto the front of the car. And then there's a couple on the corner, like plastic clips. Yo, we're back. It's a new day. Finishing up this front bumper, and I'm going to put it on and mounting the reinforcement to the cover now. I've got these clips that I wanted to show you. This is the part number, and I've never seen anything like it. They're oval, and they fit this bit perfectly and flush. I've never been working on Mitsus for over 20 years, 25 years now. I've never seen these. So I thought that was pretty cool. We're just getting all these clips in, and then I'm going to take this over and fit it up to the car. So now I'm lying on the creeper, and this is the right rear wheel well. These 2 M10s go in. Those are like the structural pieces here. The rest just hold the cover to the support. So you get those 2 guys. Then there's a M6 up here, and that holds it to the top. And then the rest of this is all this like really badass splash guard that I'll do next. But I'm not going to tighten anything until I get this one in, then I'll tighten those 2. so on and so forth. Same story for everything. After you get all those on, you get your beefy ass mud flap, and then that goes on here. So it's like, I don't know, 6 or 8 fasteners to get this thing on, and then this side's done, so getting closer. Big bad boy here. Even for being not very crash worthy, this thing's heavy. Got the tape on the corners just so I don't scratch anything. There's a couple plugs. There's I think one's a compass, one's a fog light, and one's maybe the thermometer for the dashboard. So those have to get plugged in as I do this. So yeah, I'm gonna pop this thing up into place and then not tighten anything except for maybe 1 or 2 fasteners so it doesn't fall off. Don't fall down. Everybody, stay where you are. Okay, we're getting close. So the 2 nuts to hold the side are on. One of the centers, one of the 2, and then I'll get this one on. Take this tape off. This tape is to mark the center of the cover. I got the new Evolution badge that I'll put on in a few minutes. So I'm gonna get this fitted up and tightened. So this is the front left rear wheel well. You guys probably remember Evo 8s. We were like, oh, I'm just gonna do something quick under the engine, and that splash guard had like 50 of these plastic fasteners in it, and they'd all be stripped and they'd all take forever to get off. So sort of what we got here. There's this main splash guard, and then there's a lower one that has some butyl rubber that later this year I'll cut a new sheet of this and fix it, but for now I'm just gonna put this one on. That guy goes there. We're getting close. I have to do these screws on the outside of the splash guard. This one's hard. What I did was I started on the inside and I just completely ignored the alignment of the outside holes. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up going back and forth, it falls down, all this stuff. So that's just the way I approached it. Let's review real quick. There's a small sheet metal type screw that goes into a clip that holds this bumper lip flush. It's like behind this plastic clip. So you put that guy in, you got 2 here that hold this lower splash guard on, 2 here, and all the plastic ones around the perimeter. And then some coarse threaded fasteners here to hold the back of the fender on. Then around the top, rivets. They're M8. I was able to get these super cool Toyota rivets with a nylon sheath. So there's no metal on metal and there's no paint damage. They're super cool. I think you can get them from this place called like something in fasteners.com. I'll try to include the link. I got to order more actually, but they come out nice. They have a nice big head. It's like 10mm head. You stick in there and then you pop them. And that's the final touch. So then I have to move on over to the other side after this. I'm sweating like a dog. It's 90 degrees out. Bumpers on. The last stop is this grill. This grill basically just has these little rubber bumpers on the bottom. It seats in these holes, and then up top, some M6 hardware to get it on. There's 1 Phillips in the center. It's funny, everything on this truck is like super reinforced. Even the grill, 5 fasteners to hold the grill on. Get a nice look at the cooling package in the front here now. These are some black Hella horns I put in. I hate those red ones that everybody uses. But I did want some like pretty authoritative sounding horns, so I put these black ones in. They're much louder. They're sort of like a European sound versus the Japanese friendly honk sound. So this is like one of the last stages I've got. I'm a little short on hardware, to be honest. It's very unlike me and it's kind of bothering me. This car's been down since last August. And the shop has changed around so much since then. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a bag of hardware, and most of it is like fender well stuff. So everything's on fine. I'm just using mismatched hardware, which drives me crazy. So I'll make an order this week and get the right stuff. This is, as you can see, this is done. The next few steps will be to put the engine bay back together, put the wheels on. I'll be cooking. Put this thing outside for the first time in a long time. I'm pumped. Get this filter in. I left the filter out and the airbox apart because in this mouse experiment, I know they like to hide in the airbox and in the silencer. It's like super pain in the butt to get everything out. It's just a Denso filter. I don't use anything fancy. We're not trying to like eke out every little bit of horsepower from this thing. It's just a regular fit. Here's the part number, 1433081. It's from another car. It's actually a really hard item to find in the US. So buy that one, fits perfect. This car is cool, it doesn't have a map sensor. It uses a map sensor only, which is super unique for this year for Mitsubishi. Like they had to have been trying new stuff with this car. So it's just atmospheric pressure. It's the only way they measure the incoming air for the air-fuel ratio calibration. What more has to be said? Look at this bad boy. Here's the part number. If anybody's interested, I love showing these because I watch YouTube videos to learn often, and people don't show part numbers and they don't show decent instructions, but so I always like to do that. So this is going to be, because of the cost of this sticker, I'm going to be incredibly cautious here. I have to look online to see the relative placement here. And then what I'm going to do, actually it's already done, this is so trick. I didn't just apply the sticker, there's still a backing that has to come off. If you get close, they make a little V right at the center. So what I've done, this edge is the center right here. So I'm going to move this over so that V is aligned with this edge on the tape. But then I have to get the height right. I think right now it's just a touch low. In photos, I think I have the exact measurement from like the edge, the top edge. So I'll try to get that, and we'll get that sticker on. Check this out. This is the cover. I know there's a lot of new Evo owners here in the States. To do pretty much anything on the top of the engine, you have to take this cover off. This cover is no longer available, so be very careful with it if you hope to keep it. These two tabs in the back, these are shoulder screws everywhere. I keep calling these shoulder screws, and there might be another name for them. You can't see these when this cover's in the car, so people like take this off, these two, and then there's like a couple tabs that align around the oil filter, or I'm sorry, the oil fill cap. But don't just take these two off and the cap off and then pull it off, because you'll break the cover. There's two in the back. This is like such high stakes, I'm like afraid to do it on camera. You guys knew what this friggin' decal cost. Shit. It's like puffy, if you can see it close. It's not just a vinyl decal. This is like a proper dealer marking. So now I'm peeling off this plastic backing. I looked at my measurements, it's almost exactly in the middle, so I've set this tape up to be exactly in the middle. Okay. Kind of proud of myself. It's not crooked. This feels like the final touch of this project that's been going on for so long. Just a few months shy of a year. I hope to definitely drive this car more this year. Hell yeah. Took this off so they could paint match for the panels, but check it out. Even the gas cap has a wide body kit. That's how it looks. They built it all off. What they did is, you can see they welded standoffs and nuts on the inside. It's kind of cool. It's just a standard cap that they put through production and made this piece for it. The car is out from like 8 months of stored inside. What we did in this round is painted the over fenders, the steps, applied new puffy decals to the steps. That's painted, the bumper's painted. There was a dent on the corner of this bumper, it's gone. New rear step, new badging in the back. Man, this just looks awesome. This was all predicated by my buddy backing into me, and ended up taking the whole thing apart. Here we are. It's the Evo back in action.